Well, welcome back to the Ropes Family Podcast. Courtney, you're back.
I'm back.
You're back from the Disney World.
Bubble, yeah. Disney World.
You went to Disney World and you went to Universal.
We did.
How was that?
It was good.
Yeah, did you have like a magical experience? Is that what they?
It's completely magical.
Oh yeah. Did you see Goofy?
I don't think so.
What
Well,
are-
I mean, from afar.
What are all of what are all the characters you saw?
We saw all the Winnie the Pooh characters. I don't remember.
Oh,
Aurora,
I don't know who that is.
Sleeping Beauty.
See Elsa?
No.
Oh. Is
Well,
Elsa's
we
Disney?
did, but from afar.
Oh, she's over there. She's on the North Mountain.
Yeah.
See Olaf?
In our ice castle. Yes.
You did see Olaf. Wow. That's a good time.
I know we met Anna and Elsa.
You did?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I thought you like, we did. I was like, I didn't.
No, my family. My family met Anna and Elsa.
Well, that's good. Well, did y'all go to, yeah, I know you sent me a picture of a couple of you guys on a ride. Was that like
Tron.
That was Tron. So that was from Wreck-It Ralph, right?
No, Tron's from like a movie from way long ago.
Oh.
I don't know when.
I think they referenced it on Wreck-It Ralph.
I think so.
Because they were like, they got lost. The game broke while they were in there and it was all weird. But anyway, I guess we could get into the reason why we're doing the podcast we're talking about family ministry. We promised this 2 weeks ago, and then Courtney was out of town, and now Courtney's back. So we're going to talk about family ministry.
Okay, so it's good. What is family ministry? Since you're the family minister.
Well, I'm not yet, but we're getting close.
Well,
Hopefully, that's
Youth and family. Let me correct myself.
That's the goal. That's where we're going to be at soon, hopefully. If you guys know anybody that knows how to lead worship, send them our way. Because as soon as we find somebody, that's when I'll do the family ministry part. But I think we've kind of answered. You can look at family ministry the same way you could look at any of the others as far as like why we do it or why it's important. Ministry is meeting people where they are, and helping them and equipping them and to do the work that God has called them to do. Youth, we do the things for youth. We've already talked about that. And children, we've already talked about that with the kids. But with family, where family ministry is different, is that the focus becomes not just on one age group. Like the youth group, we kind of focus all the programming and all of the things that youth kids will like.
Yeah.
And the same thing with kids ministry. And we talked about this before, like the teaching levels. I have maybe 8 or 9 or 10 minutes of attention. Donovan, when he teaches, he can do 45 minutes. When kids teach, you got 25 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. Better talk quick.
You've got to say exactly what you mean when you mean it. But with families, it's different. We kind of talk about this in staff meetings over the last couple months and weeks and however long we've talked about this. Even about Family Sunday, how can we and we even talked about the retreat coming up too, and how can we include everyone in the teaching? How can we make the teaching or what we're doing engaging for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Like we can't just give everybody crayons like we can with the kids.
Right.
And I can't just talk about video games to parents, just like I can talk video games with the youth kids. So it's how do we make it engaging for everybody in the family unit for it to be done. So it's a little bit, family ministry is kind of like
An umbrella?
maybe,
No?
yeah. I guess you can ask the next question and I can answer that part.
Okay. What's the difference in children's, youth, and family ministry?
And that's kind of answering the question I was just getting into. Family ministry isn't like a weekly event. Mm-hmm. Like the children and youth ministries things and the adult ministry that we have on Wednesdays. It's not like a weekly thing, but it exists kind of in the background, kind of like an umbrella, but more like it's in the background. It's my hope with family ministry is to unite all the ministries, not just to have, one here, one here, one here. We've talked about this in in our previous 2 podcasts that we talked about. We don't want our ministries to become little churches.
Right.
We want the whole church to be united. And I really believe that family ministry plays that role in uniting everybody, because if the children and the youth are on the same page as far as what the children are talking about, and leading them into what the youth are going to be talking about, and then leading the youth into what adult ministry or what adults are going to be talking about. It's having cohesion, I guess is the right word. I'm using big words, cohesion.
Cohesion.
But having those things happen so everybody's prepared, and it's not just like we have all these, it's not like you're isolated when you go to the new ministries. When you age out, it's you always have a place wherever you are, because the whole church has been inclusive in everything. My little circles. I'm talking with my hands here.
Okay, now we have that though. So okay, so why do we need a family ministry? I think you kind of already answered it, but
I think we did kind of answer. The way I answered these questions, I kind of answered them before you asked them, which is my fault in podcast planning. But we both have kind of talked about our goals in ministry, and it boils down to train children off in the way they should. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Start children off in the way they should go, and even when they're old, they will not turn from it." I think that's that's what we are trying to do.
right.
In our ministries is train it's disciple the kids in the way they should go, in the way, what it means to be a believer, introduce them to Jesus, teach them that. And then same thing with Deuteronomy 4:6 that we talked about a couple of times is, we're commanded to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then we teach them to our children. It's like it doesn't stop with us. And it does. And, I feel like parents are sometimes struggle with teaching their children in the ways they should go as far as church stuff. They feel ill-equipped or not, they don't know enough, or, there's a lot of things about parents that can make us feel like we're not good enough to teach our kids the Bible because we don't follow it very well ourselves sometimes.
Right.
Right. But it doesn't say, teach them the way they should go only if you know which way they should go. It says teach them the way they should go. Even if you haven't got it quite right, it's still teach them the way they should go. And I also, I think family is God's design for the way life works. It just kind of is a picture of creation almost, like in the beginning, God told Adam and Eve, be fruitful and multiply, be a family.
Right.
Do the things that you need to do to build a family, to raise kids, and then have those kids raise kids, be fruitful, multiply, do all those things, and so that's why I think that the family must be cared for. It has to be ministered to effectively, because the enemy would love nothing more than to destroy families, and we see the enemy destroying families all the time. Like it's common to us now. It's not even, it doesn't seem like a big deal anymore. Like so-and-so's getting divorced, or, so-and-so ran away from their family, or, we see those things like the enemy is constantly working into destroying families, to isolate people, to make kids feel like they don't belong anywhere. If the enemy can do that, then we're vulnerable, and so the family has to be protected, and it has to be equipped to handle the things that life's going to throw at it, that the enemy's going to throw at it. And so I think that's why the church needs to have a big focus on family ministry.
And I think from a parent's point of view, it helps me to have other parents that are like-minded. Like how we're raising our kids is not exactly the same, but we have the same goal.
Yeah.
Training them up in Jesus. Mm-hmm. And it's hard when you get outside of the church and your kids make friends, with the kid on the basketball team or whatever that's not a church kid. And you're trying to get along with these parents, and they have completely different lifestyles or goals or whatever. And I think family ministry makes it where we can all get together and spend time together and
have community.
Yeah.
Community and fellowship. Yeah. I think that's a huge deal. And that's a role that the church should play for sure. And yeah, there's nothing worse than having to explain other people's lifestyles to my kids.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey,
It's hard.
they think this way, you know, and we don't believe this way. And it's really like, and, you know, my kids are at the age, they don't really understand what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
and I don't want to say they're different. You stay away from them.
Right,
You know,
no.
you know, our call is to love people. But we also can't participate in the way that they are, the way that people are doing things, you know. And I know the way that comes off is almost like, stay away. You can't be around any of my kids. You can't be, you know. But it's really a pain. It's not a pain. It's really a sad thing to have to explain to my kid. Hey, what my kid asked the other day? Hey, what is that statue on top of that building? What does that mean? You know, and we're like, hey, that's just something that, you know, we don't necessarily believe, you know, and those people exalt that person differently than and we exalt Jesus. We think Jesus is the reason for the things, and you know, that particular place doesn't, as like we do. They do it differently,
Right.
and so that's a tough thing to have to explain to your kids. And if you're not equipped for that, like, you know, I'm a youth pastor at church. I should kind of know a little bit of the differences in some of these things. But like, if you're just like a regular believer that may not know the differences, you'd be like, oh, I don't really know, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just important to have community that can come around and help you navigate those kind of things, for sure.
So what about people that don't have a typical family, or they're without family?
Yeah, that's kind of like the bad rap that the name family ministry gets. You know, it's like,
I read a whole blog post on it.
you know, like, what about the people that don't have families? You know, they can, if you use the term family ministry, which we're going to use, but like, if you use that term, it could isolate people, right? It make people feel left out, you know, like, what if they don't have mom, dad, 2 kids and a dog, you know, or mom, dad, 3 kids and a dog, mom, dad, 5 kids and a dog, or whatever, however many kids you got. What if it's mom and a kid?
Yeah.
You know, or if it's dad and 2 kids, or, you know, what if it isn't the nuclear family? How do you minister to that family? And I think that's the goal of the church, to serve in family ministry. You know, it's not just me or you or the staff here doing family ministry. It's the opportunity for the church to do family ministry, to minister to the family. You know, if they don't have a certain part of that nuclear family, the church, hey, let's send some dads to go hang out with this boy, to go take him fishing, or to teach him what it's like to be a man. You know, I needed that growing up. It was one of those things where, you know, I grew up not knowing exactly what a man does, you know, and I needed that. And then, you know, so now that's where my church could have stepped in and done that. Or, you know, the same thing with girls, you know, like, if a dad doesn't know how to braid a girl's hair, you know, have some ladies come and do her hair. Or I'm just coming up with random examples, you know, or just things like that. Or there's another one, you know, college students. College students are here from California or wherever they're from, and they may be homesick, or they may miss their families. That's a perfect opportunity for the church to be a family for this person. You know, invite them over for Thanksgiving, or over for lunch after church, or things like that. Be a little second family for them. You know, that's a great way for the family to be a church. Or even like empty nesters. You know, the empty nesters they're kind of out of the nuclear family world. You know, they still have like their family, but their families are now being fruitful and multiplying, you know. So now that's a little different. So they're empty nesters. And so maybe plug the empty nesters into the youth or the children's ministry, so they can still feel like they can be useful to train children up in the way they go, you know, not just their kids, but other kids, you know, invest in them, do those things, you know. Or even like senior adults serving in the nursery, you know. I promise you that blesses those ladies a ton. They love that. I know it's probably like, in there with Easton, it's probably wild. Because
No.
I mean, I know what he's like with me, and so I can just imagine he sees a cute senior adult lady like, oh, I mean, he's gonna give them a run for their money. But I think it gives them life and energy and so much. It's a way for our kids to bless other people, and the same thing. That's family ministry. Our kids blessing people, ministering. It's a big cycle of the church taking care of itself, of the church taking care of people.
I agree.
You got anything else?
I have a question, but we didn't prepare for it.
That's okay.
How do we get people to participate in family ministry?
I think just showing the need for it, acknowledging that, hey, this family might need this need, and we're looking for somebody to fill it. And it takes almost a little bit of vulnerability from the people that need the help, and as well as the eagerness from the church to be able to do it. It takes buy-in. It's a slow process to get going. It's going to be one of those things like it might be weird the first couple of times that you kind of have to be the not liaison. I don't like that word. Or they like the mediator between the two people. Hey, this person needs this, and you're great at this. Can you come alongside them and do that? And I think that's a great thing. There is a college student that's coming, Ella. If I got your name wrong, I'm so sorry. But she feels called to minister to senior adults. We'll plug her in. Hey, go. Yeah. That's awesome. And we went, Donovan and I went to the senior lunch that they do every month, and they talked about her. They said, that is so cool. That is so awesome of her to just take initiative and do that. And what about the people that aren't going to ask to do that or don't know if that would be weird, right. Equip them to do it, give them an opportunity. And I think that's what the church can do as far as being able to participate in family ministry. Also, something that Allison said on our podcast a couple weeks ago was including our family in the ministry that we do. That's also a part of family ministry. I think you can look at it as Colossians 3:16 and 17, let the word of Christ dwell within you richly is the beginning of 3:16, but then in 3:17, in whatever you do it for the Lord, do it to bring glory to him and to point people to him. I think it's a great thing. You got anything else? Mm-mm. That's all we got this week. We will talk at y'all later. We don't know exactly what we're going to be talking about next week, but it's going to be something.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll talk at y'all later. Peace.